Since International Women's Day approaches, I thought I'd do a quick piece on one of the most common questions regarding women in the Mongol Empire. That is, were there female Mongolian warriors? The answer is no, but also yes. Allow me to explain. In Mongol society, men needed to be freed up to be called for war. Due to the small population of Mongols, every possible man counted for battle. Due to this, and the existing difficulties of the steppe lifestyle, Mongolian and nomadic women in general enjoyed greater economic, domestic, and socio-political freedom than women in contemporary sedentary societies. Every Mongol girl, as well as the boys, learned to ride a horse and shoot a bow, the building blocks of the Mongol military. But did they fight in the actual conquests of the Mongols? By and large, no. Normal Mongol women would not be called up for battle. No one would be left to maintain the herds. As we will see, the only exceptions were upper-class women, often in cases of revenge. We'll look at the most notable examples chronologically. The Persian historian and Ilkhanid vizier Rashid al-Din, a generally well-informed individual, describes Chinggis Khan's own mother, Qutulun, battling part of the tribe when they tried to abandon her family after her husband Mesugai's death. But this is unsupported in the secret history of the Mongols. And if Qutulun was being abandoned by the whole tribe, where did she find the numbers for battle? This could just be Rashid playing up the episode where she waves her husband's horsetail standard before the departing tribe, but we'll include the mention anyways. Juvayni describe how, in revenge for the death of her husband Toka Char, a daughter of Chinggis Khan and her bodyguard entered the city of Nishapur in 1221 and took part in the slaughter. But it is unclear she fought in the actual siege and battle, which was led by her brother Tolui, or just the ensuing sacking of the city once the armed resistance had broken. Her brutality and need to avenge her husband is made clear by the sources. Also in 1221, we have a case recorded by Ibn al-Athir. After Dev and Subaday's pursuit of the Khwarezm Shah Muhammad II, they spent some time hopping across northwestern Iran and the Caucasus, sacking and taking cities. One of these was Mariga, falling to them in March 1221. In Ibn al-Athir's account, he describes an armored woman entering a house, killing several people and taking the remainder prisoner. Only when she put her weapons and armor down did the prisoners realize she was a woman, then surprised and killed her. We have no other information on this anonymous woman, and the incident is not mentioned in other accounts of the sack of Mariga. This is possibly as close as we come to evidence for a regular woman in the Mongol army, rather than a Chinggisid princess. The most famous example is Qutulun, a daughter of Khaidu Khan, who dominated Central Asia from the 1270s to his death in 1301. Qutulun is described by her contemporaries Marco Polo and Rashid al-Din as Khaidu's favorite child. While most famous for her wrestling prowess, she is explicitly described as taking part in campaigns and battles, and was singled out for her bravery. After Khaidu's death, Qutulun wished to take control of the army for her brother Orus, but was forced into an early retirement by another brother, Chapar, and the Chagatai Khan Dua. She spent the remainder of her life guarding her father's tomb, until killed in a Chagatai raid in 1307. The final named Mongolian woman we know who took part in battle was Kunjek, a daughter of the third Ilkhan, Teguder Ahmed. Kunjek was married to Arinjan, a non-Chinggisid Amir who took part in a revolt against the powerful Amir Chupan in the final years of the Ilkhanate. The Persian writer Mustafi writes that Kunjek fought bravely in a battle against Chupan and the Ilkhan Abu Sa'id in June 1319, and was killed. So notable was her valor that the Mongols gave her a man's name, Ahmad, signaling in part how unusual it was for a woman to take a direct role in combat. And there is our known named women who fought in battle, though we also have examples of women fighting in irregular situations, such as Qutulugh Hutton, whose husband was killed during the usurpation of Baidu in 1295. After Baidu's short reign, Qutulun hunted down her husband's murderer, decapitated him, and hung his severed head from her horse. Described as proud, a skilled horsewoman, archer, and devout Muslim, apparently it took a royal decree for her to finally get rid of the severed head. A recent archaeological find in northern Mongolia from the early 14th century may also be a female warrior. Around 180 centimeters tall, she was considerably larger and more muscled than average contemporary women. Buried with a knife, hatchet, and a saddle, more common for male graves, but with bone structure of a woman. Immediately, people assumed she was a warrior. Yet, the skeleton shows no sign of battle injuries, and we await further study to confirm the sex and the hypothesis. So, there are cases of female warriors among Mongols, but they were uncommon and generally restricted to Chinggisid princesses. Of course, a woman's worth is not weighed in the number of cities she sacks or civilians she slaughters, and Mongolian women took on numerous, far more important roles in service to their families and Khan than as frontline troops. From imperial regents like Turgena Khatun, to educating their children, to managing herds and hearths, to organizing and managing camps and the imperial ordu in the Khan's absence. Women were an integral part to the function of the Mongol Empire in day-to-day life and at the administrative level. You can look forward to a video on Chinggis Khan's mother, Qutulun, coming soon as a part of a larger YouTuber collaboration for Women's History Month. A playlist you won't want to miss. Check it out, March 20th, 2020.